Okay, so the All In podcast just dropped an episode on AI sovereignty that did 474,000 views. That's about 23 times their channel median. People care about this narrative. And here's the thing, the narrative is clean. Palantir, Nvidia, OpenAI, these are the US champions. They're going to outcompete China. Hardware plus software alignment is a moat. Institutional money is rotating into it. The All In guys are calling it a watershed moment. And on the surface, that story makes sense, but there's something missing from that framing, and it's worth noticing what gets left out of a 23x outlier conversation. Nvidia is up 4% today. It's at $210.96. That's momentum. Institutions are buying into the sovereign AI narrative. The idea that US hardware is a strategic asset, that's resonating. Palantir gets positioned as the domestic software champion, closes deals with federal agencies, works on classified projects. The optics are perfect. The moat looks real. And then there's Elon, who just dumped $100 million into XAI training compute, who's building out Grok, who could theoretically do what Palantir does for the government, but who doesn't get the same sovereign narrative treatment. So the question isn't whether Palantir's thesis is right. It probably is. The question is whether there's a second thesis running underneath, and whether Elon knows something about how AI sovereignty actually plays out. Here's the split. Palantir's bet is domesticated AI, US-controlled models running on US infrastructure, captured by US institutions. It's the Cold War playbook. Build your own chip, control your own software, win the game the old way. Elon's bet looks different. He's not chasing the sovereign narrative. He's building open-source training capability. He's letting XAI run as a separate entity. He's spending money like he thinks the future of AI isn't about national champions. It's about decentralized capability, about anyone with compute access being able to run competitive models. One of these theses is probably right, and maybe both can coexist for a while. But they're not the same thing. The all-in narrative is winning right now. Palantir stock is doing well. The idea that you can bet on US AI dominance through a single company is appealing. It's clean. It's patriotic. It's a moat. The Elon thesis is quieter, less obvious, and it assumes that AI sovereignty means something different than what Palantir is selling. It assumes that control comes from access to training compute, from open source model weights, from the ability to fork and run and retrain, not from contracts with federal agencies. SPCX is down 4.5% today. It's at $145.30. Meanwhile, Nvidia's up. Palantir's got momentum. The market is voting. And the vote is for the sovereign narrative, at least for now. But here's what's interesting. The market is doing something that looks like de-risking Elon as a geopolitical player. The all-in guys aren't wrong about AI sovereignty mattering. They're just framing it through a lens that doesn't have room for Elon's approach. And maybe that's fine. Maybe Palantir wins the sovereign game. Maybe the federal government decides that what it needs is a classified, US-controlled AI platform. Maybe Elon's $100 million in XAI training compute turns into noise. Or maybe the real sovereignty play is the one nobody's talking about. The one that doesn't need a contract. The one that runs because it's open and decentralized and too resilient to be controlled by any single foreign power. And maybe Elon's betting on that version. So here's the thing. You can be bullish on both theses. You can think Palantir wins the government contract game and XAI wins the broader AI capability game. Or you can pick a side. But right now the market is picking Palantir's side. And Elon's empire is getting de-risked out of that narrative. That doesn't mean it's wrong. It means it's not the consensus bet. And for people who've been watching Elon's moves, that's actually the more interesting position to watch. Drop a comment. Where do you think the real AI sovereignty moat actually lives? The Palantir model or something closer to what Elon's building? If you want the full picture on how Elon's thinking about AI as a competitive advantage, I went deep on that in XAI's $6 billion bet, link in the description. And if this kind of second-order geopolitical thinking is useful, hit subscribe. I do this every day. And speaking of bears and unexpected defensive moves, a Tennessee guy just repelled a charging black bear with bear spray last week. Not metaphorically. The bear came at him. He deployed. The bear left. It's one of the few times the tool works exactly as designed. Humans versus nature. Sometimes the humans actually win. All right, That's it from me. If this was useful, hit subscribe. I do this every day. Have a good one.